what? Hey. Oh.
Ticklish. Oh, ticklish. Yeah. Ticklish.
What was that? Was that little laugh?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hi guys, long time no see. Um, it has been about a month since I filmed, and the last video I made was the vlog. Is the baby here yet? And I actually went into labor the day after I made that vlog, so it was really good timing. As you can see, AJ is here and he is perfect. He is 1 month old, a little over 4 weeks old. Yeah. I guess I just want to tell you guys my birth story and let you guys kind of have some insight into why it took me so long to come back and film and introduce the little one to you. Yeah, we can just start. On June 9th, I started having contractions. It was a Friday, and I started having contractions around 9 p.m. They were very, very gentle. And I thought, I was one of the lucky ones. I thought that I was going to have this really gentle labor, really laid back and relaxed. And, I was like, oh, these are contractions? What? My stomach was just getting really, really hard, like every 10 minutes, but it was at a very consistent rate. So I called the nurse hotline and they were just like, it's probably Braxton Hicks, but if your water breaks or you have a bloody show, head to the hospital. But neither of those things happened. So the next day, I was still having these contractions, and I knew I was in early labor just because I know that Braxton Hicks contractions don't usually come so consistently for so long. So around 2 p.m. the next day, we headed to the hospital because my contractions, they were a little bit more painful, but not painful, if that makes sense. But they were coming a lot closer together. They were about 5 minutes to 4 minutes apart. So I was like, let me take my behind to the hospital. And we went, and Adam rolled me in, and I just remember like waving at the security guard and, going upstairs to triage to be examined and like all happy and, just thinking again, my labor is going to be so great. These contractions are nothing. So after being in triage, they were like, okay, girl, well, you're only 1.5 centimeters dilated. So they gave me the option of walking around for an hour and then being examined again or going home. We left, and then we came back at 2 in the morning, Sunday morning, the 11th, the day AJ was born. And so it was less than 12 hours, but it definitely wasn't like 1 hour, So I guess it is good that we went home. But again, we came back at around 2 a.m. on Sunday. And before we came back, we were at the house and when we were watching some movie. Adam was watching it. I was on this couch in this very spot, just dying. Like I started feeling what real contractions felt like. Adam had like a cool cloth and he was like putting it on my back and like, being there for me. And between every contraction, I wasn't yelling, but I was growling through my contractions. And after they were about 2 minutes apart, I was like, all right, we gotta go. This is not these are not Braxton Hicks. This is not pre-labor. Like, this is too painful to not be the real thing, When we got there, their computers were down. And they were entering everyone's information manually. I remember my nurse was writing my information down on a paper towel, and I was just like, I do not have much faith in this, but it is what it is. So because of all of that, I feel like I was only supposed to be in triage for 45 minutes because that's kind of how long I was there before. I was in triage for 3 hours. 3 or 4 hours. I was there from like 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. So about 4 hours. When they first examined me, my contractions were pretty intense, and they said that I was, I think, 4.5 centimeters.
Mm-hmm.
I was 4.5. Okay, so yeah, I was 4.5. So they were like, you can be admitted. And I remember being like, oh my God, all this pain and I'm only 4.5. I could have sworn that I was 6, 7, 8 centimeters. All lies. All lies. So they admitted me, and you know, I got to my room. I started not pushing, but I started feeling my contractions get a little bit more intense. Around 8 o'clock, I was 6 centimeters dilated and I was tired. So I asked for a very gentle painkiller. At this point, I still wanted to do a natural birth, as in no epidural, but I was always open to getting like painkillers as long as they wouldn't affect the baby and the state of the baby. So I took a painkiller just to get a really quick nap at 8 a.m. And then at 9 a.m., I wish I didn't take that painkiller, because at 9 a.m., I woke up out of my sleep in the worst pain I have ever been in my entire life. At this point, I was 6.5 centimeters dilated, and it's still kind of a blur. It's still kind of a blur. It was so painful. So that was cute, and I tried to fight the good fight, but it got kind of difficult when I started feeling a lot of pressure. I started feeling a lot of pressure, and I was at 7 centimeters, and I kept telling them, can you please check me, because I feel like I need to push. I really feel like I need to push, and I don't know how not to push. And I was having these contractions. At this point, I was like growl screaming. It was just insane. And I was at 7 centimeters for 2 hours. I don't know how. I do not know how. My dilation did not move for 2 hours, but the baby was really low. They told me that the baby was low like weeks before. So I got the epidural. I got the epidural just because I was at the same dilation for so long. I was just like, I can't do this. I can't. I don't know how to do this. And I was so exhausted. Again, I was in labor for 2 days at that point. So yeah, I got the epidural. And from the epidural on, it was smooth sailing. Now, I will say at 11 a.m., right before I got the epidural, they did let me know. Oh, I never had a bloody show. I never lost my mucus plug, and they had to artificially rupture my membranes. They had to break my they had to break my water for me, basically. And when they did that at around 11 a.m. to see if it would kind of speed up labor, which it did not, but there was meconium in my water. So, you know, if you don't know what that means that the baby pooped in the womb, and now they're how they're getting their nutrients is also mixed with their first poop, which can be very, very dangerous. So that stressed me out as well. Yeah, it was just a lot. So after my epidural, it was a lot more relaxed. I remember talking to my nurse and being like, am I high? I didn't know epidurals like messed with my mental state. And she was like, no, you were just in pain for so long and now you're not. You feel like you're high. And I was like, oh, well, look at God. My cervix opened up like that. My cervix opened up in like 45 minutes, an hour, and then I was pushing. The baby was born at 1:35 p.m. He was 20 inches long and 7.5 pounds. The nurses were the nurses were pretty nice about me deciding to get an epidural. They were like, you made it to 7 centimeters. That's a lot further than a lot of people do make it. My birth plan went completely out the window, but at the same time, my birth plan, it was literally just ideally what I would like to happen, but I wasn't married to it. I wasn't really, I don't want to say committed, because I was committed to it. I was in that pain, but I also had the understanding that it could not go this way, and all that matters is that my child is delivered in a healthy way and is here and healthy. So before we get to the rest of the story, I do want to do a quick side story. It's a law of attraction story, because you guys know how I'm obsessed. About 30 weeks into my prenatal care, I was talking to my OB. My OB is a goddess. She is the most amazing, wonderful African woman, and she is so smart, so talented, knows what she's talking about. so empathetic, and I just remember just really trusting her and feeling comfortable around her. And when I was around 30 weeks, she actually let me know that the hospital that I was going to, the way they kind of operate is that your OB doesn't necessarily deliver your baby. You get whoever is on call. So at that point, 30 weeks into my pregnancy, I remember thinking, wouldn't it be nice if my doctor, my OB could deliver my baby, because she brings me comfort, and I would be very comfortable if she did. But if she does not, life goes on. I didn't put any pressure behind the wish or anything, but I did think, wouldn't it be nice? So fast forward to me actually being in labor. When I was in triage, I did meet the physician who was supposed to deliver me. She was very nice, very sweet. She talked to me all morning, you know, keeping my spirits up, holding my hand, all that fun stuff. So right after they told me that I was done dilating and my cervix was at 10 centimeters, my OB walks in. I'm like, hey girl, what are you doing here? And she actually had a surgery in the hospital earlier that day, so she delivered AJ for me. Yes, law of attraction is real. Okay, so this is kind of where the story takes a turn, and it's kind of really sad, but it's all good because AJ is here and AJ is healthy. After I delivered the baby, I got to hold him. They took him out of me, and I got to hold him. And ideally, we're supposed to do skin to skin for 2 minutes, 45 seconds to 2 minutes, I guess, before they check him out. And they said that they let me hold him for 45 minutes, but it felt like 10 seconds. It didn't feel long at all. And I was holding him, and he was very, very pale. And then I remember he started turning purple, and it started at his lips. And I started saying, like, something's wrong, what's wrong? And they immediately, like, grabbed him, and they took him from me, and they put him on this table next to me. And, you know, I had just had a baby, so I couldn't, like, look and, like, really be like, what's going on? Like, really look over there. I was really just turning my head. My body, I couldn't. And I was getting sewn up and all that stuff. So I couldn't really see what was going on. They had him on this table. Do you remember?
As soon as they took him from her, they just put him on the table, start hooking him up with wires, monitors.
I thought they didn't do that till he was in the NICU.
Just small ones to small ones just to see how his heart is. Then they start using the suction to see if his lungs are clear. But they're just like, all right, we gotta take him to NICU. And I just remember you looked at me, you're like, just go with them. I was like, I will, I'm not going anywhere, I'm gonna follow him. And one of the doctors said, you can follow us if you want to, but if not, you can meet us down in NICU where all the babies are.
NICU.
NICU?
Yeah, it's like newborn.
ICU.
Yeah.
Newborn ICU. So I was like, yeah, I'll follow you, because I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm not letting my kid out of my sight. This is my first time seeing him, so yes, I'm going to follow you. So as soon as we get to the newborn ICU, they just get into a little section. They take him out of the little table, put him into the little bed, and then they start pricking him, seeing where his blood is, or trying to prick him, because
yeah, they said it took a long time to find.
They were trying to get his blood out, but multiple nurses were like, we can't get his blood. His skin is really tough for some reason. It's really different this time. I was like, wait, what? They were struggling with that, and other nurses were actually just hooking him up with more machine, more wires. So they got like tubes down his throat, and other tubes in his mouth.
They did put a tube down his throat?
Yeah, so they could keep feeding him. Like, since he wasn't able to drink or breathe correctly, so they just put a little tube down his throat so he'll be able to.
Oh, that's right, the little one that was on the side of his mouth.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So yes, all of that. So Adam stayed with him for the rest of the day, basically. And my mom was there, and I delivered my baby in Charlotte, and she actually lives in a smaller city outside of Charlotte, and she has MS too, and she has some other health things going on, so she can't drive on the highway. And she really made a sacrifice to be there at the hospital for me. And, you know, she couldn't stay too late because if it got dark, it would be more difficult for her to drive. So my mom was there and Adam's mother was there. But because the baby had to go to the NICU, they were very concerned, and I still stand behind this decision. Like, I told everyone, I was like, go be with the baby. Go be with the baby, because this baby is new. It's new to the planet. It's new to this environment. It's freaking out, and it's not with me. And when a newborn's not with its mother when they're born, that is stressful to the baby. So I told everyone to go be with the baby, go give energy, go give love, and just be there with him. But as a result of that, I was in the room by myself for 7 or 8 hours. And I couldn't go down to the NICU because they had to make sure that I could pee. When you get an epidural, like, one of the checks to make sure that you're okay is that you can pee, and I couldn't pee. So they wouldn't really like let me leave for a couple hours. They said my bladder was dangerously full, and I don't think that any way they could empty it. I don't think there was any way they could empty it aside from a catheter, and I don't think they want to do that unless it's like very serious. So they were just like, we're gonna just wait it out. So eventually I did pee. And even before that, they had a lactation consultant come in and try to teach me how to breastfeed and use a pump, and it was a complete waste of time. I was not there. I was mentally not there, and I just remember sitting in that bed, and like, nobody was telling me anything. I didn't get a call from the NICU. I didn't get a call from anyone. I didn't expect any of my mom or his mother or him to call me, because, you know, you would assume that a doctor would call me. You would assume that someone who knows every aspect of the situation would contact me and tell me what's going on, but that didn't happen. So I was sitting there for 7 hours, not knowing what the situation was. I knew it had something to do with the meconium. I knew it had something to do with his lungs, but that was it. So towards the end of the day, I finally pee, and Adam comes back to the room, and we all go down to the NICU, and I see my baby. And at the time, it wasn't as traumatic, but in hindsight, it was. He had all these tubes and all these wires, and he was so small, and oh my God. And he was really just trying. He was just really, 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 really trying to be alive. And yeah. But long story short, he was hospitalized for 5 days. And around day 3, he started making really good progress. Pretty much after I started doing skin to skin with him, he started making very quick progress. I started doing that with him about 2 or 3 days after he was born. And then I was hospitalized for 4 days because my blood pressure was so high. And in hindsight, I understand why my blood pressure was so high. And also, my stitches hurt, you guys. They hurt so bad. But yes, so labor was long. And afterwards, he was... I didn't even say why he was hospitalized. He did get meconium in his lungs, and he was having a lot of trouble. His lungs were having trouble functioning. They were also concerned about how much carbon dioxide he was taking in compared to oxygen. A lot of doctor talk. I don't really remember it. I'm actually starting to block the memory, so that's why I was like, I have to get this video out, because he's happy and healthy now. So it's just like, I don't have to remember those scary times. But yes, obviously all of this was why we didn't vlog. All of this was why we weren't really, I wasn't concerned about blogging or updating my social media or anything, because I had to make sure my baby was okay. Yeah. I had to make sure Nugget was okay. It took me a couple weeks to kind of just be like, my baby is healthy, my baby is here, my baby is safe, you know? He's the best. He's the best. He's 1 month old. Now he weighs 11 pounds. So it's getting some weight on him. And he's sleeping. And he's the most darling thing in the world. He's a sweet baby. He really is. Chunk. Little Chunk. He has the biggest cheeks ever, too. There we go. There we go, cutie. Yeah.
No?
Not today.
Okay.
Okay.
Please,
Thank
no
you.
more.
Thank
Please.
you. No more pictures. So yes, that is our labor and delivery story. We feel very blessed to have our little baby in our home, healthy and happy. Everything for him health-wise is on track. His peeing, his pooping, how much weight he's gaining, how much he's eating, everything is perfect. And I feel so blessed and so grateful and so thankful that he is okay and happy. I hope you enjoyed this video. I am preparing some content, but it is going to take me some time to get used to this new schedule with the babe, so please be patient. I am very excited. If you have any questions about, just more specific things about delivery, just leave a comment. I will get back to you ASAP. Thank you so much for watching the video. I love you guys so much, and I'm so happy to be back with our new edition. And I will talk to you guys next time.